started into the agenda for today, I do just have some housekeeping items for the service for the meeting today. We're going to have a virtual public meeting as you all have joined this WebEx. And today we will be recording this meeting, and it's an open meeting according to DC Code 2-578. We're recording it and it will be made available to the public within about 7 days after the meeting on DC DDOT's YouTube channel. We are also streaming live on the DDOT Facebook page. If you have any technical difficulties during this meeting, please call 202-997-8354. During the meeting, all participants will be muted and their cameras will be designated as off. It is closed caption. We do have interpreters available for those that need it. You will be able to put questions in the Q&A section of the WebEx. On your computer, if you look for the little 3-dot icon, scroll down and you will be able to see the different dots. I want to make sure that everyone can see my screen. Deborah, can you give me a nod? Great. Thank you. I want to check in with our OCIO partners. Are you able to see the screen? Donica and IT, can you see my screen?
You're currently not sharing. I don't see you sharing.
Okay. Let me reshare. Do you see anything now?
No.
Okay. For now technical difficulties, let me go into sharing mode again. Let's see. Are we all there?
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go back to the page about the virtual meeting and ensure that everyone is aware that we are live streaming on our DDOT YouTube, on our DDOT Facebook page, and we will be posting this public meeting to our DDOT YouTube channel. We are recording this meeting in accordance with the DC Code 2-578. If there are any technical difficulties, you may call 202-997-8354. Again, this meeting is a public meeting open to the public. Cameras are all turned off and everyone that's attending, except for the presenters, are muted. It is closed captioned. If you would like to put a question for clarification of anything that we are presenting, please look for the 3 dots on your screen and put your question in the Q&A section. We have a team that is monitoring that section, and when we get through to the Q&A portion of the agenda, the team will provide those questions and they will be responded based on clarification of the topics that are being presented today. This is the Q&A section that you can drop your questions in, and again, they are being monitored. It's the little 3 dots on your computer. If you have any troubles with that, please look for 3 little dots, and then you should be able to open up your Q&A section and drop your questions there. Now we'll begin the agenda for today with introductions. First, I started speaking and did not introduce myself. I am Carla Longshore, and good afternoon. I am the Associate Director here at the District Department of Transportation, and I am in the Transit Delivery Division. Presenting with me today and monitoring the Q&A section is Ms. Deborah Montz. Deborah will be coming on screen and introducing herself, and Mr. Porter Compton, who will be presenting alternative transportation options for us. And he will come on screen and introduce himself.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Deborah Montz, and I will be monitoring your questions for clarification that will be presented during the Q&A portion of this agenda, this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Porter Crumpton. I'm a transportation planner on the bus priority team. I will be presenting some of the alternative transportation options for the circulator routes.
Thank you very much. The next portion of the agenda will go through the service phase out, wind down, and then the service changes, talk about the alternative transportation options, and then have our Q&A section. For our questions and answers, again, I want to make sure that you drop questions and answers for clarification of the information that is being presented today, and they will be answered here. All other questions will be answered and posted on our website by Friday, September 27th. So as we begin the phase out, I just wanted to remind everyone that the DC Circulator downsize and elimination is part of the FY25 district's fiscal budget, which begins October 1st, 2024. And as part of that budget, the DC Circulator program will be eliminated. Our circulator program is a contracted service for the district through the RATP Dev USA corporate division. And our phase out begins October 1st, and with service culminating on December 31st of this year, 2024. RATP Dev, who is the contractor, have notified their employees of the wind down and phase out of the DC Circulator service. We're going to go through some of the effective service changes that will take effect on October 1st, beginning with the DuPont-Rawson route. DuPont-Rawson route will be the first route that will be discontinued. We are posting signage along the route so that all of the riders will understand that the service will be eliminated after September 30th and look for other options. We are also posting updates on our DC Circulator website, and Porter will go through some of the optional services that the riders, transit riders, can take for the Georgetown DuPont route as well. The remaining routes, the 5 remaining routes for the DC Circulator, will operate on a 20-minute headway compared to the current published 10-minute headways that the service has utilized through the life of the system. This is part of the phase down program. So the Georgetown Union Station route, the Eastern Market LaFont Plaza, the Woodley Park Adams Morgan, Congress Heights Union Station, and the National Mall route will operate on 20-minute headways, and they will all end at 9 o'clock with the exception of the National Mall route, which currently ends at 7 p.m. beginning October 1st. The late night service, which generally goes anywhere from 12 o'clock midnight until 3 a.m., will be discontinued as of September 30th on the Georgetown Union Station route, the Eastern Market LaFont Plaza route, and the Woodley Park Adams Morgan route. All of the routes will end at 9 o'clock, as does the Congress Heights Union Station, again, with the exception of the National Mall route, which will end at 7 p.m. All of the routes will have service notification posted on the route on the flag poles so that we can advise riders of the changes in the services as well. Our team has begun posting these flyers and posters along the different routes around the DC Circulator service. On December 31st, the DC Circulator will take its last ride. Service will end at 9 p.m. And after the service ends on 9 p.m. for the 5 operating routes, the service will be discontinued. Again, we are posting route elimination signs along all of the routes as well to advise riders of alternative routes that they can take for transportation options, as well as any updates to the service as they can use the QR code. Also posting signs inside of the DC Circulator vehicles and window clings to advise riders of alternative options and other means and other service changes. As we move through the wind down, DDOT has worked with WMATA to come up with some additional routes that would help eliminate the impact to some of the transit riders along these DC Circulator routes. WMATA has provided some expansive service for the Rawson DuPont route. They are adding additional service on the weekends so that they can achieve 15-minute headways to assist with riders along that service area. The Union Station Congress Heights route, they're adding an Anacostia shuttle along the Stanton Road and Pomeroy Streets for about every 30, and Pomeroy Road about every 30 minutes to accommodate riders in that area where there was no additional WMATA service. The Woodley Park Adams Morgan route, the 52 and the 54 will have additional service along the 14th Street corridor to assist riders with that capacity along the 14th Street. The Union Station Georgetown route, WMATA is extending the 33 along H and I Streets over to Union Station, and that will assist riders that normally take the Circulator Georgetown Union Station route. At this time, we do not have an interim service for the National Mall and are working with the National Mall and National Park Service to determine what they will provide for riders along the National Mall route for the visitors to the district. As we come up for our beginning of our alternatives, I'll turn this over to Porter so he can go through some of the alternative routes and allow us to get from point A to point B with some of the alternatives.
Thank you very much, Carla. Just to start going real quick, as Carla mentioned, there will be expanded service on the 38B on weekends from Roslyn Metro to Farragut North. This will be 15-minute frequencies on weekends to match existing weekday frequencies. This route travels along M Street in Georgetown and goes near DuPont Circle to Farragut North. And as a reminder, Metro will still be running with the blue, orange, and silver line between Roslyn, Foggy Bottom, and Farragut North, which will bring you walking distance to destinations near DuPont Circle. Additionally, WMATA 33 will continue service on Wisconsin and M Streets. You can take that as well to Farragut North and further destinations. This also supplements the Georgetown Union Station route that we will talk about later. Okay, Georgetown Union Station, same as before, expanded weekend service on the 38B from Roslyn to Georgetown, also with the 33 service, which will continue its routing. On the eastern end, the 33 will be extended along H and I Streets, New York and Massachusetts Avenue to Union Station to help supplement the loss of the circulator service. It will be walking distance from the current route, which is along K Street and directly parallels along New York Avenue at this time. 33 will be running as part of Metro's frequent service network and will take you pretty much along the existing circulator route. Okay. For the Congress Heights Union Station route along 8th Street and Ward 6, the 90 and 92 are currently on 8th Street now and will remain after the circulator. You can walk to Union Station about 10 to 15 minutes from 8th Street north of C Street. In the Anacostia area where the route is along Stanton Road, the W6 and W8 service will still exist. Additionally, WMATA, working with DDOT, will provide a C25 shuttle route along Pomeroy Road and Stanton Road to Anacostia Station that will run every 15 minutes to supplement the circulator service. You can also catch the W6 and W8 on Morris Road, which is 5 minutes away from Stanton Road. Okay. For the Woodley Park, Adams Morgan, McPherson Square Metro, WMATA will be running additional service on 52 to supplement the loss of the circulator. The Green Line is also still running from Columbia Heights to destinations in downtown. You can also switch to the blue, orange, and silver for McPherson Square and Metro Center. Additionally, there are other bus routes in Adams Morgan and Woodley Park that will take you to the 14th and U Street corridor and downtown to Farragut North and nearby to McPherson Square. The Eastern Market LaFont Plaza route has a number of Metrobus services already existing. The V4 will take you from 8th Street to Navy Yard, the P6 from 11th Street to 4th Street near Waterfront Station, and the 74 from LaFont Plaza to Waterfront. Additionally, if you're traveling directly between the Eastern Market and LaFont Plaza or Navy Yard and LaFont Plaza, the Metro will still be running. And lastly, for the National Mall route, As Carla mentioned previously, there's ongoing efforts to determine what the service will be. In the meantime, many popular destinations along the mall are walking distance from multiple metro stations, including Federal Triangle, Archives, LaFont Plaza, Smithsonian, and other Blue, Orange, Silver Line stations.
Thank you very much, Porter. And we also want to mention that around the district, we also have the Capital Bike Share that we can also utilize for transportation modes as well. But for any riders that may need to also find additional options or alternative options, you can always visit WMATA.com and use their trip planner feature. It's a great feature. I actually use it for our new location to get back and forth up to Union Station. So it's a great feature that WMATA has on their website. We're coming around to the time where we have question and answers for any clarification. I know we may have gone through this, seems like a little swiftly. So if there are any clarifications that are needed for anyone regarding any of the routes that we talked about, any WMATA routes that will get you to the majority of the areas where the DC Circulator is serviced during the elimination of the service, how to get to a specific place, please drop those in the Q&A section if you have not already. I will ask Deborah if you have any or see any questions in the Q&A section. Oh, Deborah, I think you're muted.
I am looking right now, Carla. I don't see. Okay, please. There is a question here. Is there a timeline for when National Park Service and WMATA will announce an alternative for the National Mall route?
Good question. Thank you for that question. We're not certain if it's going to be the National Park Service and WMATA, or if it's going to be the National Park Service soliciting or providing their own service along the National Mall. We are working with the National Park Service to determine what that alternative would be. But I do not have a timeline at this time.
And Carla, in addition to that, the question was, will there be a replacement before the end of the year?
The National Park Service will determine how they're going to subsidize any alternatives, but we don't have that information or timeline at this time. We do know they're working with a consultant.
All right, we have another question. During rush hour on weekdays, we need buses more frequently than 30 minutes for the school kids. What's your solution for that?
Is the DC Circulator will be operating every 20 minutes on 20-minute schedules is the headway determination at this time. So we're going from a 10-minute headway to 10 to 20 minutes. And if it's a longer route, then we also have the WMATA service that operates on 12-minute headways. Do you see any other questions? Deborah, we can hold for some time if people have any questions or any of the attendees have any questions about the timing or other questions.
There is another question, Carla. That question is, what's the transition plan to ensure that drivers aren't considered as new hires and protects their hourly pay and other benefits? And will all circulator drivers get a clear plan of the transition?
Thank you for that question. We're taking questions that are clarifying questions on the service dates, the service times. All of the other questions will be responded to and posted on the website on by Friday, September 27th.
Carla, here's the question that we can address. What alternative routes connect Woodley Park to Columbia Heights?
Thank you, Deborah. Porter, would you be able to provide some additional insight for the question that's been posed?
Yes, I can. Um, so for under the existing network, if you were in the park, you can take the 96 or L2 to.
I'm sorry, Porter, I can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry. You can take the 96 or L2 to Adams Morgan, where you can then transfer to the 42 or 43, which can take you as far as 16th Street of Mount Pleasant, which is in the Columbia Heights neighborhood, and only a short walk from the Columbia Heights metro station.
Thank you, Porter. So I
Thank you.
heard the L2 and then 96.
Yes.
And Porter, could you also flip back to the mall slide, the last slide of the mall slide, and explain that?
So, as Carla mentioned earlier, there's still work on what a replacement or coverage service would look like for the circulator here. But in the meantime, for some of the destinations, they are accessible via metro in a short walk. Federal Triangle, Archives, Smithsonian, LaFont Plaza are the closest train stations to the mall. Foggy Bottom, Farragut West, McPherson Square are closer to destinations where the memorials are.
Thank you, Porter.
I don't see any other additional questions at this time, Carla.
Thank you. I think I am seeing for some other team members, there may be some other questions. Is the Congress Heights route running on weekends? The Congress Heights Union Station Circulator route is operated on weekends. It will be on a 20-minute headway. The alternative, which will be the C25 WMATA route that will connect Pomeroy Road and Stanton Road back to Anacostia Station, will be operating on weekends as well.
I think we've addressed all of the questions that we can answer at this time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think we did respond to the question regarding the timeline for the MPS and WMATA announcing an alternative route. And at this time, we are unsure if National Park Service will be working with WMATA or another operator to provide an alternative service along the National Mall area. We do know that they have hired a consultant to work with them to determine what their alternatives are. I don't think there are any other questions that are in the Q&A section. We can hold for a few moments if there is another question or someone is typing.
Hi, Carla. We are not seeing any questions that we can address at this time.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
So we've completed our Q&A session of the public meeting regarding the DC Circulator phase out and wind down to elimination. the district will be submitting to you, once you complete this meeting, a survey, and we hope that you will take the survey. It does help us to track all of our meeting attendees and to ensure that we're compliant with our Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Title VI meeting participant questionnaire is used by DDOT to help ensure that we are informing the public and conducting our meetings in a non-discriminatory manner in compliance with Title VI.
Paula, we did receive a question.
Okay.
What are the alternate routes in the National Mall for disabled riders?
We don't have the final plan from the National Park Service at this time on alternative service for riders around the National Mall. The WMATA Metro is ADA accessible. The service from the Smithsonian Museum will take you right towards the middle of the mall. So it depends on where the transit rider is trying to go. The mall Smithsonian stop is very centralized along the National Mall area.
Thank you. That's all that we see.
Thank you. We would like for everyone to stay in contact with us as we're going through the wind down. You can contact us through the DCCirculator.com website, hit connect, and then click on contact us. You'll be able to submit any additional questions you may have regarding the timeline of the wind down and phase out to elimination for the DC Circulator. You can also call 202-671-2020 or scan the QR code. The QR code will link you to the DC Circulator website, where you can find updates regarding the service elimination as they become available. And we're hoping to keep everyone informed of any of the service changes and adjustments that we have. We thank you very much for attending the DC Circulator Service Elimination public meeting today. And we thank you for the over 18 years that we've enjoyed the service together. Enjoy the rest of your day.